The league's not that good. There's no dynasty out there. The Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant isn't kicking tail every night. I think it's wide open.
There can only be one winner this year, so why not your team? Let's bring in Dave McMenamin to give us 3 reasons why the Lakers can win it all this year. So, Dave, what is your first reason?
The Lakers lockdown defense, Cassidy. They are ranked number 12 in the league in defense efficiency for the season. But since the All-Star break, number 3. You look at the past 10 NBA champions. Golden State won last year, number 2. Milwaukee, number 9. LA a couple years ago, number 3. Toronto, number 5. On and on and on. You got to be a top 10 defense to give yourself a chance. And it's not just that they have the number there, but they have the personnel. You can say if they face off against one of the big men in the league, you got an Anthony Davis, you can anchor your defense. If you face off with one of these fearsome wing players like a Jason Tatum or Kawhi Leonard, you got Jared Vanderbilt to throw on that guy. And so to me, that's where it will begin and end for them if they are to pull off this improbable run. Starting off the season 2-10, ending with the title, it's going to be the defense that carries them.
AD can guard everyone in this league, and we feel real confident when we start switching late game.
Absolutely. You don't need me to say defense wins championships, but especially for LeBron James teams, he needs a good defensive team around him. How about number 2? What is another reason why you think the Lakers can win a title?
Anthony Davis. And it's not just the defensive impact that he has, which is formidable, but he has been one of the best offensive players in the league this season. Now, we have to mention he did miss 20 games with a serious right foot issue, and that could pop up at any moment. That's part of the story that Anthony Davis has lived these last several years in the NBA, unfortunately for him. But when he's locked in and healthy and playing pain-free, which he is doing right now, and quite frankly, he's playing as well right now, if not better, than he was pre-foot injury. And that back then, people were talking about him maybe as an MVP candidate.
You know, a guy that a lot of people like to clown and call him street clothes, and Anthony Davis. I think he could be an MVP candidate.
He can be the guy that can lead them to the promised land. It seems to be this is finally the moment where he is ready to take the torch from LeBron James as the best player, bar none, of the Los Angeles Lakers. And there's not many guys in the league that have the size and the adept ability, quick on their feet, to be able to stop Anthony Davis.
And just your thoughts on Davis on both ends of the court. And
Will?
Anthony had, Davis.
Will.
Oh, Will, gotcha.
Yeah, Will Davis.
You know, LeBron James, arguably the best to ever do it, but in order for this team to win a championship, Anthony Davis needs to be the best player on that team. All right, the third and final reason why you think the Los Angeles Lakers can win a title in 2023.
The league's not that good. There's no dynasty out there. The Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant isn't kicking tail every night. I think it's wide open. And because of that, in years past, you would say, oh, we can't even begin to have the conversation about a team that might be coming into the postseason as a play-in team, that they could possibly make a run. But look at the parity has been the story of this year's NBA. There are a few teams out there, I think, that are head and shoulders above the rest, but not too many. And those teams, I don't think, scare anybody in the Lakers locker room. And so because of kind of the opportunity that is at their footstep and all the work they've put together to get to this point, maybe this is the time.
What are you guys capable of accomplishing this season?
Championship.
So the Wild Wild West is really just anyone's game. Great. Those are 3 good reasons. You got the defense, Anthony Davis, and anyone could win it, basically, as reasons why the Lakers can win a title this year. But what is one thing? Let's limit it to one thing that can stop this team from winning a title.
The money, Cassidy. The Lakers, to their credit, were able to turn over the roster at the trade deadline, send 5 players out, get 6 players in. All these guys, though, from D'Angelo Russell to Malik Beasley to Jared Vanderbilt, right on down the line, Mo Bamba, Rui Hachimura, all potential free agents. And when you're winning, that's a beautiful thing, right? You're winning. Everybody's going to feel like they're going to get paid and get taken care of. Come summertime, perhaps they'll all be back living in Southern California next year too, because they prove something. But what happens all of a sudden? You're down 2-1 in a playoff series, and you start thinking about, well, hey, game 3, I didn't really get my shots up, and if we fall down in game 4, we're down 3-1 all of a sudden, and I'm getting my numbers. People are going to start saying, well, he didn't perform in the playoffs, and if I don't perform in the playoffs, am I going to get paid? That can be a whole can of worms. And so while the Lakers, to Rob Pelinka's credit, have given themselves a ton of flexibility moving forward, where they could have a lot of these contracts come off the books and decide to become a major player in free agency this summer, at the same time, there's a human element at play, and all these guys are proud professionals trying to set themselves up, set their families up for success in the future, which means financial compensation.
Go get your money that you believe you deserve.
Interesting. The playoffs are the ultimate mental game, but there's different levels of desperation on this team. Very interesting. Thank you, Dave, for giving us 3 reasons and a reason to ponder as to why the Lakers can win it all and why they can't. We will see. It's going to be a very exciting NBA playoffs. Appreciate you, Dave.
You got it, Cassidy.
The countdown is on. The playoffs are 4 days away. But if the Pelicans are going to make it out of the play-in and into the playoffs, they're going to have to do it without Zion Williamson. He hasn't played since suffering a hamstring injury on January 2nd. He's listed as out for tomorrow's elimination game against the Thunder on ESPN. And moments ago, Zion, he spoke with reporters. Take a listen.
How close are you to feeling like you'll be ready to play?
Physically, I'm fine. Now it's just a matter of when I feel like Zion. I know the atmosphere I'd be in based off like the playoff experience. So now it's just a matter of when I feel like Zion.
How frustrating was the setback?
It sucks. I don't know how else to say it. It just sucks. I love this game. I say it over and over. For those people that think that I just want to sit on the sideline just to sit over there, I don't know why people think that. But nah, it sucks. I just want to be playing basketball for real.
Our reporter covering the Pelicans, Andrew Lopez, is with us now. Andrew, you were just speaking with Zion. We saw you there in that shot. What was your takeaway from all that he had to say?
Yeah, right now it's basically that he doesn't feel like himself right now. As you just heard, he went on to mention he feels like he would be in his own head if he went out there on the court right now, knowing the magnitude of these games. And while it seems like, if you have somebody out there like Zion, even at 80 or 90%, he could help you. But if he's not there mentally, it's not going to work. And he said, I know I would hesitate on moves. I know I would affect the team in a negative way, and I don't want to do that. So if we are going to see Zion again, as you mentioned, they would have to get out of the play-in tournament. And I asked him specifically, would you be able to go in a first-round series? And he said, well, if I feel like Zion, I'll go out there.
Andrew, thank you so much. That was concerning for me to hear as well as we bring in the rest of our panel to this discussion, because when I am listening to Zion Perk and he is saying that he's hesitating on moves, that he's in his own head, we've seen that make players continue to slow down their recovery and to re-injure themselves. What do you think of this?
It's a lot to unravel. But when I think about the Zion situation, you got to think about his history, right, of him being injured. And I think this comes a point where the leadership of the front office have to come to the table and actually figure things out with this young man. I mean, he's trying to figure things out himself. I understand where he's coming from, but at the end of the day, they have to figure out what's the best way to get him on the floor. I really don't have an answer for this, but to go to Griffin or leadership.
Jalen?
It's not just that he's hurt, it's where he's hurt. And the one thing we love about Zion is his athleticism for a guy that's 6'8", but however, he's going to have to lose some pounds to get back out there to take pressure off his lower extremities, in particular that hamstring. So I think this